Hello and welcome to Baggio's penalty landed in my garden. We are back. We're 21 days away, I think, for the World Cup now. Scott, how are we doing?
Yeah, it's getting closer, Andrew. It's the excitement's slightly building each day.
Well, I was going to ask you, it's Jerry's like, out of 1 to 10, where is your excitement levels at the moment?
I'll say 6 at the moment. I work in a bookshop, and we're getting more and more books in about the World Cup. I think BBC have put in a lot of documentaries about football and the World Cup in particular. Netflix is the same. I think it's just getting a wee bit more excitement that way. I don't know, but, looking back at Qatar, I was excited that much, about it
Yeah.
until it actually happened. I think until a ball's kicked, you're not going to be fully excited. You're not going to get really into the eights, nines, and tens until you've seen a wee bit of football. And hopefully, when you do see a wee bit of football, it's actually good football.
Yeah, I mean, as two people who are hosting a World Cup podcast, I should be more excited, but I'm really not. I am down at like a 2. It just feels the more teams, the games aren't that exciting. The way it's where it's been hosted doesn't excite me. The fact that they might be fucking half empty stadiums doesn't excite me. It was like I'm hoping, like we said about when we did 2006 World Cup, if you get like a banger of a goal or a really good game, like a 3-2 or something, you're like, now we're in, now we're going, and maybe have like a Saudi Arabia beating Argentina or something, just
Yeah,
like to
and
make you.
sometimes it is the football that actually is the most important thing. I think we sometimes forget that. And I think that's a good example of the Saudi Arabia Argentina thing, where just everybody kind of sat up and went, oh, right there, this isn't going to be quite as normal as we thought it was going to be. Like
Yeah.
Morocco getting to the semis and stuff like that. If you can always have those kind of stories popping up, I think the excitement grows as the tournament that kicks off. But you're right, it's been dragged down by political nonsense. For the
More stories
last
about ticket
couple of
prices and
years.
all that gumph.
Yeah, they've managed to knock down the price of the trains by I don't know, but still paying you're still paying
Still
$81,
ridiculous.
so it's not as if it's back to normal. So all these kind of things that crop up, Iran, the war in Iran and the Iranian team, are they going to go to the World Cup? They're not going to go to the World Cup. It seems like they are, which is great, but um, those sort of sideshows aren't needed.
No.
But
And
that's
Qatar
it.
had
That's
as well.
what the
Well,
life
no,
we're in.
I was like, "Oh, I'm not going to watch this fucking Qatar fucking World Cup bullshit," and then you do end up watching it because it's fucking the only thing that's on for 4 weeks. But yeah, it's got so much bad around it. I'm just hoping that the football outshines it. And then I start looking at the games. You're like, Mexico, South Africa, right? South Korea, Czech Republic could be decent. Canada, Bosnia, not sure on that. Then we get to Qatar, Switzerland, and then we get to our day, which is probably the big one. Brazil, Morocco is massive, and then Scotland's first game in the Haiti. Maybe it'll take a couple of days to get going. Maybe Haiti beating us 3-0 will be the big story to kick us off.
You can never predict where the kind of
No,
surprise is coming from, which is another good thing about the World Cup.
but the amount of teams is kind of diluted where the big games are going to be. And I mean, I've seen talk today. I was at a 66 team one for 2030. Are we just trying to ruin the whole thing?
I,
24 was
th-
decent. 32 was perfect. Yeah, let's stick with this one.
I think
As we speak, Scotland squad's been announced. I think England's is tomorrow. There's been a few announced. Let's start with the Scotland squad because we are Scottish, both wearing Scotland shirts. As soon as it came out, I said to you, there's 3 players I don't know, and you knew exactly who I meant. And they were Dom Haim, Ross Stewart, and Finlay Curtis. Do you want to quickly touch on like why are they in the squad? Basically, what are they going to bring to the squad?
so. I think so. Dom Howden got called up recently for the Japan Ivory Coast friendlies, and I think he's a solid, dependable championship defender. And we're not blessed with a huge amount of centre backs. And I think he obviously impressed Steve Clarke, probably the right kid temperament and stuff. Um, so it's one of those ones that I just think it's a bit of reliability.
Mm.
I said, I don't think he's the type of player that's going to bring the ball out like Cannavaro or dominate things like a Lucio or you those world class defenders of the old guard. But I think it's just a bit more reliability and something that Steve Clarke trusts. Finlay Curtis, I was so here's the thing. It's kind of for people who don't know about a lot about Scottish football, kind of it'll encapsulate things. So if you play for one of the bigger teams, Rangers or Celtic, youth doesn't really get its chance a lot. Now, at the start of this season, Rangers were terrible. When Russell Martin was the Rangers manager. But Finlay Curtis was actually one of the bright sparks of the team. He came in, he was only kind of 18, 19, and he was contributing with goals and assists. Um, but as soon as the kind of signings came in, you know, your Gassimers and your Antmans, he was then kind of taken out the spotlight a bit. And then come January, Danny Rose taken over. Scott Olsen came in, Danish international winger. He was terrible for those 6 months. Finlay Curtis went to Kilmarnock. Really impressed, especially towards the end of the season. He was picking up important goals for Kilmarnock. He really was a big major factor in them getting out of the playoff positions for relegation, and kind of steered them clear of relegation. He was playing under a manager, Neil McCann, who knew him from his time at Rangers. And I think he gives us something a bit different on the wing, and I think we are
Mm.
blessed in the wing. And I think he'll probably not start, but it could be somebody in the last 20 minutes that kind of maybe galvanises the team. And, you know,
It's nice to
he,
see like Dominic Himes 30, but Finlay Curtis is 19. You want to see these kids that maybe come 23 in the next World Cup. He is like a bigger player and he's had that experience. Why
yeah,
not?
to be honest, what he did at Kilmarnock was better than probably any winger was doing at Rangers. I don't know why. You know, I'd like to think next season he will now be a kind of regular starter for Rangers as well.
Rangers, yeah.
Ross Stewart. So we've known about Ross Stewart for quite some time. He's just been unlucky with injuries. He's came back towards the end of this season, scored goals for Southampton before they obviously get papped out of the playoffs with their binoculars.
Spygate. Yep.
So but he was scoring goals. He scored, I think, one in the semi-finals. He scored against Arsenal in the FA Cup. He's got something about him which is kind of a kind of bulky guy with kind of a wee bit of pace as well. It would have surprised me if he'd managed to stay fit for the last couple of years, that he would actually be one of our starters.
Because he had a really good record for Sunderland, didn't he, over a couple of years?
Yeah.
And then going to Southampton. And I guess he's in because Tommy Conway got injured before the
Yes,
squad got picked.
and that's a
That's
shame because Conway's got a bit of pace about him,
yeah.
and I think he would have got in. Obviously, there's a lot of chat about Ollie McBurnie, but Ollie McBurnie, there's reasons why Ollie McBurnie is not there.
Yeah, it's somewhat me. Like I was just looking at the goals and going, "Well, he's fucking scoring goals. Why have you not got him in the squad?" But there's more to it, isn't there?
Yeah, so he's had caps before, not scored, and not particularly played well. He wasn't good at linking up. And when you're with Scotland, you're playing at number 9. If you're not scoring goals, you need to then bring other people into the game and kind of make sure that it's kind of fluid in your attack. And that wasn't happening. Now, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he'd never reached like 20 caps because I think you sometimes need a load of caps to play that position internationally for Scotland because it is such a hard position. I think of Kenny Miller and Lee Griffiths, they were scoring goals after they reached that kind of landmark cap rather than straight away for
And
inconsistently.
again, it's not just caps; it's minutes as well. You can get
Yeah,
fucking 10 minutes off the bench. That's not the same as 90 minutes
it's
against
just
Greece or someone.
yeah, it's just as you say, getting minutes, getting. But even if you're not getting the minutes in those 20 caps, but you're looking at the game and you can then work out who you're going to play. I think for Kenny Miller, a lot of that was that. It was just kind of working out. Right, I can make those runs. I can do this, that, and the next thing. But I think one of the biggest kind of telltale things was he came out last week to say that he'd phoned Steve Clarke a month or two ago and asked, "Listen, what can I do?" No, I don't even know if it was that. Can I come? I want to get to the World Cup kind of thing. Now, if you're going to make that phone call, one, why are you not making that in qualifying? Why are you not making that earlier on in the year?
Yeah,
And
start the campaign, right? What do I need to do
yeah,
to get in the squad, boss? That's the private conversation. If you get to the end of it and you've done all the things you said and you still don't get in, I think every right to go. Well, we spoke. He asked me to do X, Y, Z. I did X, Y, Z, and you still said no. You're a prick. I know you probably still shouldn't put it in public. I get why you would do that more then and go. He lied to me basically.
yeah.
Like,
The other thing is, obviously, then they made that public, and I don't think that that was ever a discussion that was meant to go out into the
mm.
media. And I think that that was the final nail in the coffin. I don't think there was any coming back from that. I think Steve Clarke's a very kind of old school manager in that sense, and it's kind of
I think it was something Deschamps did back when after France's problems, and he was like, "I'm not picking the best 23 players. I'm picking the best 23-man squad." And a lot of that is personality and how you link with other players and like, how you gel with other players. And yeah, I think it was Hatem Ben Arfa at the time, was one of the best players in France or where he was playing for. and you pick like Musa Sissoko instead because you can trust him and he's
Yeah,
dependable and
it's also about having the right characters. I don't know Oliver McBurnie. I'm not saying that his character. I don't know him, so I can't say that. But it's like if you look at again, Deschamps is a kind of barometer. He picked Mandanda. It wasn't as a goalkeeper that was maybe past his best, but he was good around the squads. Adel
oh,
Rami and things like that.
mate,
There are
the
people that
biggest thing
he's
that pisses
picked.
me off is the arguments over third choice keepers. Like, one, anyone gives a fuck anyway. If
Yeah,
your third choice keeper is playing, you're already fucked. But I would always take someone who's like 34, 35, been there, done that, vibes guy. You're not going to get any bullshit. You're going to be the guy that like that's like Rio Mavuma went to France as well. He was never going to play. Like if Rio Mavuma's playing in midfield for your team, you're struggling. So just have someone who's a captain somewhere who's going to be well behaved. Like people get so obsessed by like every single player. Like, oh, it's like some
but
guys are just there because they're good guys as well, and they could
if
do a
you
job if you need to play them. But
if you look at England, I think Jordan Henderson's going to make that squad, and I
yeah,
think that that'll be
let's
one
not
of the
get
reasons.
into the fucking Qatari fucking wage chasing scumbag that he clearly is. Like,
But but
but yeah,
I mean, you can
but it's the same way that
you could easily say that about N'Golo Kante,
I know
and
it made me sad when he went there. I get that, yeah.
but
But
that
but
that's
guys there
life. I think in terms of
Granit Xhaka had gone to Leverkusen, Granit Xhaka had gone to Sunderland. These guys who people will slag off forever, they're obviously bringing something to a team more than just the ability on a pitch, and squads need that, and I think people forget that. This isn't
yeah,
FIFA, this isn't Ultimate Team, like, it's
I think
real.
so. I think sometimes it's beyond the football as well that people, like fans, for instance, don't see. Xhaka is clearly a leader. He's clear, and I think people understood him more at Leverkusen and Sunderland. But you
Yeah,
have to remember when his Arsenal went at their best. He went at a peak, and people just like to blame other people. And I don't think he was actually probably as bad as what certain people were saying about him at Arsenal. And
yeah,
I think that's again, there's characters and stuff like that. And I think character-wise. Um, Clarke just didn't fancy Ollie McBurnie. Now,
Oliver
it's not to say that
McBurnie.
he's got a bad character, like, as I said, I don't know him, but I think for Clarke, it just
There's
was is
clearly
a no-go.
something's in that.
Yeah.
And speaking of characters, perfect segue. A team that me and you, Scott, have always loved over the years is Brazil. There was a Scotland squad. They announced their squad, and for character purposes, they announced 36-year-old Neymar in the squad, who today has come out. He's now injured, so won't play for Santos again before the World Cup starts. Now, this is the good old Neymar trick of he's injured when he goes to go see his sister at Carnival, and it's like it's just another Neymar fucking thing on the list, isn't it? I kind of get why they picked him in terms of experience. Character is probably not one you picked for that reason, but when you have got Ryan at Bournemouth and Igor Thiago is probably going to be your number 9, that a young lad, maybe someone they can look up to in terms of on the pitch is not bad, but I think he's not one you're going to look at as setting an example, going to bed early, that kind of guy.
Ancelotti, right? And it's the Neymar one has surprised me a bit because I think Ancelotti usually kind of understands the players and the dynamics of squads better. Now, listen, this is me doubting the great Ancelotti. He could go and win the World Cup with Brazil and just say Scott's talking shit. He's not going to because he doesn't know who I am. But you know what I mean? It's like it,
Fucking
it,
love that.
it,
I'm gonna pay a cameo so you can say that.
it just seems odd. It just seems like as you say, it's a segue. We're talking about character. Is that the kind of player that you want? If he isn't actually injured, is that the kind of player that you want? That he's
It,
putting himself before his team?
it's got
Uh,
Cristiano Ronaldo vibes of like, yeah, like wonderful player, like done an amazing career. But if you don't start Neymar, is he going to be happy on the bench, like cheering on his pals, 19-year-old kids like Endrick and stuff? I don't think he is.
And so the other story is, I don't know if you've seen this, Andrew. One of the other stories in the last couple of months with Neymar was that Robinho Jr., so Robinho's son, he plays for Santos as well. They were at a training session and he took the ball past Neymar and Neymar slapped him, like physically, got involved. He's since apologised and everything else. But again, is that what you want? Because as you say, Ryan's a terrific player. I'm pretty sure Ryan can skin him as well. Are you going to react? Are you going to just,
Yeah,
you know,
you're getting
it's
Dicton trained of Endrick, fucking Eagle Tiago, and Ryan, and you're just going to be like,
yeah,
yeah,
e-
yeah,
exactly. It is. Endrick's probably a better example because Endrick seems to be the next superstar. Is he ready to give up that tag?
yeah.
Ronaldinho, for example, did with Messi. He seemed to understand and pass that baton on. I don't think Neymar's got that in him. I don't think he's.
Mm.
I think it's like when the squad was announced, which was comical. Ancelotti's naming all these players, and it shows Neymar's in the crowd, and it's getting to the forwards, and he's all pensive looking, and his cool sunglasses and all the rest of it, and then he gets selected, and there's a hula and all of it. But it's all about him. It's like everything
Yeah.
in that situation. We're like, listen, just turn the cameras away. I don't want to be seen in case I don't get picked or anything else. But he clearly knows he's getting picked and is clearly reacting in that way. It just seemed, for me, it just seemed fake. Now, he
Yeah,
is the top
and,
goal
and,
scorer
and
for
you
Brazil, and
and
I can
usually
see.
I would think it is fake because you think surely these people have been warned, but then you cut to João Pedro with like 50 people around him, no getting picked, and you're like, oh, it's so fucking. That must have been horrendous.
That would, yeah,
That,
that's why you don't have those sort of situations. I don't get it at all.
like you
Um,
said, they do it in the NFL when you're going to get drafted, but it's like you kind of know that you're a first round pick, you're going to be a second day, like you've got an idea. And there's like obviously the big example of anyone who watches the NFL was Shador Sanders that went to the Browns. Was like a fifth round pick, and he thought he was going to be first round. He just sat around for 3 days waiting for that fucking beautiful.
But yeah, and I think when it comes to squad announcements, Scotland have already beaten Brazil in that instance, so the SFA deserve a wee round of applause because I think I like their video. Obi-Wan Kenobi telling us, be proud of Scotland and everything
Right,
else. You're
and you know
English, so
what?
it doesn't matter what you think about
it
it.
it was a nice video, and France did a decent one as well. But can we just fuck off and just put a fucking graphic up? What is
No,
it become
there's a
now?
graphic there. There'll be a graphic.
Everything's a fucking video. Like just put a fucking. I
We
don't
need
get it.
we need
Everything's a
content
fucking
creators
two
with
and a
the
half.
SFA, the
Ah.
Brazilian FAs, and the French FAs. I think you're
It's the
just
same
a
now, but
curmudgeon.
when clubs sign players, that the signing's done on a Tuesday, but you can't announce it to Thursday afternoon because you've got to fucking get the content done. Just fucking tweet the picture of the guy with the shirt and fucking move on. Can't be doing with it. And then everyone's got because what you can get is you get like the picture before the picture of the guy taking the picture gets released on Twitter 2 days before you know it's done. It's like, yeah, fucking.
Listen, I think it's great. And I think,
Yeah.
to be honest, I don't think it's for us specifically. I think there are younger people out there that, that is how they get all their information from.
They don't because
TikTok,
the videos are 2 minutes
Instagram,
and a half long, which I've
Twitter.
been told by TikTok is too long for a video.
Yeah, but I think the SFA are more established, and I think there's lots of people interested in the Scotland national team. I don't think.
Are you saying you slagging my TikToks? Fuck
I don't
you.
think you have 5 million followers just on the basis of 5 million people being in your country. Okay, I think that
I'd like to
there's a
know how many of those 5 million followers have actually watched that full video. I'd love to
I
see
just
the
don't know that
number.
there's 5 million people in Scotland. I don't know how many
Yeah,
followers they've actually got. I think they'll be all right. I think the numbers overall, the services of social media, I think they've done well. I think they'll
should
be
have made it
happy.
60 seconds.
Uh,
I think this is a very good Brazil squad though. I think there's talent across all positions. The midfield is probably the one where you go like
yeah,
Casemiro. To be fair, he's proved a lot of people wrong and had a really good season.
has
Uh,
he? Has he though? I don't want to turn like Roy Keane.
I think it's a better season than he had
Oh
before
yeah,
when
yeah. Could have
leave you
get
before the
worse. Could have get worse.
uh
And,
but then like
there's
Paqueta.
still. I saw. Where did I seen him against Liverpool? He was beyond the strikers at some points when Liverpool had the ball. I think. Listen, I love Casemiro. I think Casemiro was fantastic at Real Madrid. Don't think that he has dismissed all the kind of legs are gone comments. I think defensively he's not as solid, and I think that's what he's needed for in Brazil. And I think, as I say, there's still ill discipline sometimes. And again, it might just be because he's Brazilian, where he's gone far too
Hmm.
far high up the pitch.
And then I'm not quite sure who the defensive ones are. Bruno Guimaraes isn't. Fabinho is old and plays in Saudi. Paqueta's definitely not. Danilo Santos, I don't know. He puts a Botafogo.
So Fabinho will be what his legs are like and how he's been,
Yeah,
because
that's
again he left Liverpool for a reason. Liverpool were happy to sell for that price because I think he was declining.
yeah.
And the interesting one for me is that Ederson didn't go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
go back to Scotland quickly. I'm a bit frustrated that Kieran Bowie didn't go because he's done well at Verona. And I think he's another player from the Serie A that could have went with the Scotland squad. It's the same for Ederson at Atalanta. I think he would have been a solid pick.
Mm.
But for whatever reason, Ancelotti seems to really just be focusing on attack. Which I said I get, especially when it's Brazil. But
They're probably
you,
gonna play a front four, aren't they? Like fucking like Endrick, Thiago, Rafinha, Vinny Junior, is
but,
Neymar, Ryan. It's not bad, is it? You
but
got
Casemiro's definitely playing.
mm,
Because he brought him out of retirement and he's basically, I've assumed, just said, listen, if you're fit, you're playing.
I guess it's gonna be who's gonna be the legs beside him, like the Kobe Mainoo kinda, "You go do the running, I'm gonna stand here and put a few tackles in." Danilo Santos is 25, so I'm hoping he's got some legs about him. He's the only one in that squad. Quickly touch on a squad that did interest me when I was looking at this picking who'd been picked is Portugal. I think this is a really strong Portugal squad in terms of the midfield. Sadly, I have to admit now, if you're listening to me back in podcasts of old, I fucking hated PSG. You can't not but like this PSG team now. They are a beautiful footballing team, and a big part of it is the midfield. João Neves and Vitinha. And then you add into this now Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, Ruben Neves on his day. It's like that is a stacked midfield that could basically take up the whoever wants to be the Fabian Ruiz in this position. One of them can easily do it. And then, but the problem is, I think what's good about all squads, there's always like a weak thing, like Brazil in this midfield. Forwards wise, is Portugal's because Ronaldo, João Felix, Trincao, Conceição, Pedro Neto, Rafa Leao, Guedes, and Gonzalo Ramos are all on their day capable of winning a game. The problem is it's about one in five,
So
if that.
what we should kind of highlight is Cristiano Ronaldo at any other point, probably, well,
He-
the last, give
It,
away the last 4 years, then yes, that's it's sensational. You wouldn't worry about the forward line, but it's a different Cristiano Ronaldo. It's an
yeah,
evolved,
it
he's an
was worse at
older,
the Euros. He was done.
yeah, he was better. I think he was done in the last World Cup.
Well,
I
yeah,
didn't think he was coming back from that. He still scored a few qualifying, but yeah, it's not the same. He doesn't. I don't want to get absolutely annihilated,
when he
but
scores four.
but
Is anyone who I know a lot of people idolize him, like people who are playing, but is anyone still afraid of playing Cristiano Ronaldo? Like,
that's the thing. I think unless he gets a couple of goals, he's a passenger in that team, and
yeah.
that's what you have to accept.
And he might score despite of him being there. He might just be the guy that taps it in or something. Is he going to do? Is he going to be like Messi in the last World Cup, where you're still putting in performances? I think he's
But
done.
I think that is the thing is it's like you cannot give him the ball 40 yards from goal for him to run past a couple of players and smash it
Yeah,
into the back of the net like he did previously. He could do that. He could do that, and I just think but he's always going to play. So you've got to set a number 9 who's always going to play, who you can't really say is at his peak. And as we've discussed previously, you've got wide players, all very good on their day, but they're not consistently very good because they're not always
yeah.
on their day.
So
So you're kind of
that's one
having
thing
to
interesting to
rotate it
watch. Yeah,
around
yeah it's
to
going to
hope
be
that whatever day that guy's on form that you've got in the team.
Spain. Why Spain? I doubts over Lamine Yamal. He's probably going to miss the first 2 games. Dan Lopez has broke his foot. He's out. That's going to be an interesting forward line to look at. I think Nico Williams is out as well, isn't he? It's not the team that they had in kind of in the Euros, and they're really good to watch. That's an interesting one. Is there any other squad things got? I think I was looking at the Germany squad. Seems really like underwhelming for a Germany team, and they'll probably get to the final. Now I've said that. It
That
just
was
doesn't seem
the way of Germany.
yeah. It just doesn't seem like I don't know. The names aren't like Neuer's coming out of retirement at 40 to play up front.
Play up
Uh,
front.
the player fronts are pretty cool, yeah.
Jesus.
You know they're struggling. I know Walter Mada's bad,
We
but
get a couple of goals from Ronaldo, I don't know.
so the predicted forwards are Maximilian Bayer at Dortmund, who I can't say I've seen play. Kai Havertz has just come back. Leonard Carl, the young Bayern Munich kid who's looked really good to be fair to him. Leroy Sané, who's at Galatasaray, like, are you still any good? Dennis Undav, who's done decent for Stuttgart, and Walter Mada, and you're like, I don't know. It just seems
I think the boy at Bayern's actually really well thought of. And I think
yeah, it's done
he's
really
now that he's whether or not he's ready for a World Cup. I think will tell to. I think I would be surprised if they went false nine Havertz.
Or you can go. They've done false nine Verts quite a lot as well.
So I think with Havertz and with Wirtz, but Wirtz has got an extra year in my eyes to prove himself in the Premier League. But I think these players are terrific in Germany, and the style of football is different, and then they're not as good. uh, They're not as influential is probably the right word in the
Mm.
English Premier League. But Havertz, although he doesn't score, he won't get you 25 goals a season. He'll get important goals. I think he's very kind of smart.
He's
Wirtz,
not he's not quite been the kind of German star that they've like he's done it with the late season he had at Leverkusen was amazing, but
yeah,
still never been like a German super. Like, he's not been a Thomas Muller. He's not a
no,
Balak. He's not
he's
like
he's not hit that potential that we all thought he had at Leverkusen. He's just never ever hit that again, whether it's internationally or club football. Listen, he's a very good player, but he's just never. I've
it's
never seen him grab a scruff game by the scruff of the neck and just go, right, I'm
yeah.
taking this team with me.
Musiala, I think, is one that can do that if it gets the right. Depends where you're going to play him. It's like this it becomes interesting. You're going to play on the wing. Yeah, I think it's just not. Maybe they're going to. The defense is really solid. The defensive, they're going to be really, really good. But
And
yeah, midfield.
Wirtz was better for Germany than he was, at the Euros than he was for Liverpool this season. I think I think I will only judge Wirtz next season when Salah's gone, and that's his team now. Or that could be his team now if he takes it. Um,
I just think the style doesn't suit. But that's maybe
but
a talk for
that's
another
that's
another
a big
podcast.
distinct possibility. But I think he has turned up for Germany in the past, and is capable of doing that again. But it's still a bit, as you say, kind of meh, but kind of blandy. But that's the kind of German teams that grind out results and
So if
gets.
you're listening to this podcast, Germany to win the World Cup, put all your money on that now. Which is a brilliant segue into our nostalgia for this week. We are going back to mine and Scott's first proper World Cup. Yes, we're both alive for '86, but we're not counting it 'cause we're far too young. Italia '98 is kind of what probably launched football love on a different level of you got like, two kids growing up in Scotland watching fucking Scottish football and just being like maybe obsessed by our own teams in the '80s and that, and then we just got exposed to Italian football, Italian culture, Nessun Dorma blasting out these ridiculous stadiums that aren't Rugby Park or Firhill. It's the San Siro, and what are these spires, and like what's this roof, and just and it's just it's a World Cup's got this stayed with us for a very long time. If you can't see, Scott's got Chow behind him. He was showing me his Roberto Baggio in my 15 shirt I said
Yeah,
a minute ago. Is it here we go, here we go.
there you go.
And I'm pretty sure Scott, you and Diane, and they're going to Italy on holiday at least once a year. And I imagine that Thai 90 is probably part of that influence. And
Yeah,
yeah,
when I turned 40, my brother, my birthday present was to go to a Genoa game. And it was basically the stadium because I remember the
yeah,
stadium from the World Cup originally, Football Italia, Channel
true, yeah,
4,
yeah.
and
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 it
it's the same
sparked
as
that
San
whole.
Siro, which was my stag do. I went to an Inter Milan game, so it is the iconic stadiums. And it's funny because I think, unfortunately, the stadiums,
Do you know what?
some of them are no longer there. Some of them are no longer there.
I'm going to defend the San Siro, right?
No, I
I
think the
don't
San
care
Siro's
what
fine.
I don't care what the fucking concourse is like. I don't care if the toilets are shite. I went to the Parc de Princes and there was like a fucking 1 inch of water on the floor. No one knows if it was wee water or whatnot. Like, football stadiums are not meant to be nice on the inside. Like, the seats are lovely. There's not a bad seat in the San Siro. I was, I think, the second row from the back for the Milan Derby last year, and you get a perfect view of everything. Like, these fucking corporate bullshits give me big steep
So,
stands, good
so,
seats, good views.
so the
I
San
got an
Siro's
Aperol Spritz at half time. What else do you want?
So the San Siro's, I think, slightly different. I think there's a lot of stadiums that were. I know there was a lots of stadiums built in Italian '80 that had
Yeah.
money from the Olympic Committee in Italy, and that meant that they had to put running tracks around a lot of the stadiums. The San Siro, only reason that they're getting rid of the San Siro is because of corporate. It's not because
Yeah.
of stadiums. And it probably is a lot of upkeep as well to try and keep that stadium running. But they didn't own the stadium. Uh, I think now that they have got the ability to build their own stadium,
Mm.
it's corporate. It's getting that's when a lot of money comes into football these days. It's sad, and it's I dread the day that it's no longer there. That's coming very quickly. But yeah, I'm just delighted that I got to see it. I'm delighted that you
Yeah.
got to see it. And an example, but those stadiums will live forever in my
The same
mind.
with the general ones is high on my list. It's just iconic. The brick corners,
And
you
the
just don't
kind
get
of
that.
steel
Yeah,
bits at the corners as well.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Like
it's
I've been to the Olympico now. I went there with Leo away. I've been to Bologna. I've done Fiorentina. Oh, I didn't think I liked Italian football that much. I'm taking all these stadiums off my list. I've been to Napoli as well. It's like Napoli's an awful stadium. I had a worse experience there than I did at the San Siro. Don't sit in the lower bowl anywhere if you go because you can't see fucking nothing. Not even a run track. There's a moat as well.
yeah,
And
and
it's weird, like because most stadiums you got like when you two tiers they're the same size. The bottom tier's really small, and then everyone goes to the top tier. And I didn't know, and I was like, I'll just sit wherever. Yeah, I went again for Napoli Sporting, and I was up top, and it was much better, and it was like much better experience. It's one of those little quirks, isn't it? Like, you just don't.
I think I would suggest if me and you were to go to a game, if they stay in Serie B, which is looking unlikely, I think. I don't know if it's but Barry, because that's where the
Yes,
I don't think that's where the final was. Was that not in
no,
Barry's stadium?
it'd have been the Olympico, wouldn't it?
I can't remember. There was some.
Fucking,
There
you
was a
just call
big
yourself
game.
an
There's
Italian 90 expert. You're
no,
asking me about the
I
fucking
never
final
call
was.
myself an Italian expert. There was a big game, and it looks like one of the better stadiums, but you don't
It
think of it
was
now.
the Italy England third place playoff
Was it the
was
playoff?
there,
It was
and
a
I
playoff. I
imagine there'd
remember
be another
I remember
one.
yeah, as you say, it would have been. Uh,
Czechoslovakia, Costa Rica was
oh well,
that's your big one.
but I think a lot of people forget about that stadium because Barry have been in the doldrums for quite
Yeah,
some time.
our kind of mutual friend Danny Last, he did one of his trips there and took some amazing pictures, and I was like, yeah, it's on the list. Like,
It's yeah, and I think
there'll
Barry's
be
got a
there'll
wee
be no one
beach
in
and
it,
stuff.
but it'll be
Yeah, sometimes that's better to go to a stadium, and
yeah.
you feel as if you're the kind of sole occupier at that moment in time. But the whole
But
tour,
what's going on?
the
What's
whole
what?
tournament was just full of characters as well. I think
Yeah,
that's you get
and I think when you look back, it's not. There's not a lot, not a classic games. There's not a lot of high scoring games, but it was just something about like everything together just made it iconic. Like, what's the standout memories you've got from Italian 90?
as I say, I think a lot of it's the characters. Even Chow behind me, he was a character. But then it's like Valderrama, you had Hadji, Higuita, Gascoigne coming onto the scene for England, uh, Klinsmann, Maradona, Corregia, Careca, Brazil. And it's just, for us, as we've already said, it was our first World Cup. So you hadn't seen these players before. You hadn't seen, I had no clue Maradona existed until that World Cup.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
It was after that you start learning about 86 and stuff and
yeah,
that goal and
and
then
then yeah, you look back and everything.
imagine BBC might have told us a few times that there was a controversial goal that
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
who,
but we weren't listening.
thank God there
Uh,
wasn't VAR back then. Tell you,
But yeah, like then like Caniggia getting absolutely kicked to
Def-
the death
and
in the opening game
Scott,
against Cameroon,
it's these
who won.
places that were maybe just like Cameroon was just like a name of a country, like
Yeah,
in an atlas somewhere on a map that you maybe like bypassed, but then it's real and like a different culture, a different like way of behaving and
yeah.
playing, and just
I'm
even Argentina, we weren't exposed to Argentine culture and like
no.
Canadia's long hair and all these guys be
Bef-
like just a
Before
different
that World
world.
Cup, I would not have known that Cameroon or Colombia, these type of countries existed. Now,
I think I don't know the
obviously,
names. I used to study an atlas at my grand's and look at flags and stuff, and but
all
just
my
a name and a flag,
I've got very good geography, but it's all because of football. It's
yeah,
all after that
100%.
event. Uh,
That's what
and,
I
and
went to Croatia, and there was a guy, and his name was it was the DOM, is it AGA, and I went Domagoj, and the guy went, "How do you know say my name's like Domagoj Vida, the Croatian centre back?" He's like, "Hey!"
Well, that's
But
it. It's very exactly kind of similar thing. When I worked in the Hilton in Glasgow, there was a Spanish waiter, Avier, and I went, "Oh, have you?" And he was like, "Oh, how do you know?" And I remember walking down.
Javier,
I remember walking down Argyle Street, and we walked past me. He says, "Oh, hi, Scott," and it was just I went, "Oh, hi, Harry." I kept on walking, and it's like nobody that can't happen a lot in Argyle Street in
No,
Scotland,
no.
Glasgow. But yeah, again, it's just because of football, because I knew
Yeah.
that was a name.
Where places are, but it's about some random place in Holland and Cat will be like, how the fuck do you know that's that? Because they've got a team.
And
I did I
yes,
did 12 seasons. I did 12 seasons of football manager.
maybe look, Scalacci was one of my favourite players at that
Oh,
tournament. He looked like an old guy, but he actually looked younger after retirement. I did hair plugs or something. I don't know what he done.
if someone convinced me that gesture was invented by Toto Schillaci, I would believe them. But that's not just an Italian thing. That was him. He birthed that,
It's
and
just so much
it's a
passion.
perfect World Cup story of like wasn't the starter, wasn't the big star, wins Golden Boot, becomes the face of that World Cup for Italy. God, they could do with a striker like that now, and that's what it's all about is discovering, and we have lost it, is discovering these new players, not knowing who Brazil are or who they've got, not knowing any African players whatsoever. And an old guy, I think Roger Miller must have been in like mid-30s, if not late 30s, by the time that World Cup came around. Was he 36? He would have been. Was he 40 in 94?
Was he
Like,
40, was he 42? Maybe not as old as that in 94. Yeah, maybe
they just,
36. He's late, kind of
the
mid to late 30s.
these guys, like, proper journeymen playing all around the
Doing
world,
his
you
wee
like
dance.
become did his wee dance, what they
Yeah,
call on the
that's
fly,
oh.
just become superstars and stars for like 3 4 weeks. It makes it perfect. Scott, what's the standout game that you remember?
It's a standout game for me, and there wasn't a lot. It's just funny because I love this World Cup, but you
Yeah,
actually start thinking of games, you're like, oh, I don't know. But quickly, just before I go through that, this is probably our closest time to rediscovering these kind of types of players and stuff because we have got a bigger World Cup.
we said that when we did the like Curacao
So but it'll be
and that.
interesting if
Yeah,
that actually plays out, if they'll get up, but it may not play
but
out that way.
being we speak about like Haiti, they've got like Premier League goal scorers. It's
Yeah,
not the
so
same.
it's
It'll
that
never
100.
be.
Yeah, it's one hundred
Yeah,
percent not the same. Uh, Best game for me was Netherlands West Germany, and it was West Germany, so it does seem like a
it
whole
was.
era away. Do you know what I mean? The two countries were still split. But West Germany had Klinsmann, Bremer, Tays, Ola, players like that, and then the Netherlands had Koeman, Cards, Gullit, and Van Basten. It
Mhm.
felt like the closest thing to derby match I've seen in international. Argentina Brazil, you don't see that as many times played in South Africa, South America. So maybe it probably is the same there in those type of
Yeah.
games. Like for that World Cup, for them two to play each other in a neutral country and still have that kind of intensity. I mean, the Netherlands hold a grudge, that's for sure.
Aye.
Um, and it just kind of boiled over. Both teams, it was a bit like a boxing match as well. Both teams were just attacking it and just going for it. And nobody was giving any inches or anything. Uh, it was Klinsmann and a kind of goal from Bremer, and a Koeman penalty. But obviously, the most infamous part of it was Frank Rijkaard grogging on Rudy Voll's perm,
Yep.
and it just hanging there for about 10 minutes. And
And
it
I think
just
that's
wild.
I'm not condoning spitting in any way, but if you've got short hair or bald, but in someone's perm, it's just that's another
Just, yeah.
like he wouldn't have liked it his dreadlocks. Do you know what I mean that's
Uh,
poor show from Frank
but
there.
I don't think he was that type of player. I think he
Yeah.
was, but that just showed you the heat of the moment, the kind of atmosphere, the kind of grudge between the two countries. Because Voller and Rijkaard have since done TV commercials and uh, meeting up and pals and stuff.
I kind of wish they'd taken the rivalry to the grave. Like pretend like you hate each other forever. I love that. What I also love, this was played in the San Siro, like the biggest like. Yeah, the final wasn't there, but it's still the most iconic stadium with two of the most iconic international teams. You then got the subplot of Netherlands, the three players playing for Milan, Van Pastenhuyl and Rijkaard. Then the three German players, Andy Bremer, Matthias, and Klinsmann playing for Inter in the San Siro. It's absolute like cinema
And let's
obviously.
take Maradona out of the equation. These were the best players of the time. Van
Mm.
Basten was such a superb
Yeah,
striker. He
he's coming
was,
off the goal from '88, the
yeah,
final, like one of the best goals still
clinic
of all
goals.
time.
Was scored goals for fun for AC Milan, winning European Cups and stuff. Hula, I think, is underappreciated. I think nobody understands how good Hullet was in terms of
And
ability to play in different positions, his
oh,
pace, his power, his
you know, it's like when he
confidence.
signed for when he signed for Chelsea, like, I thought he was a striker now, he's now a centre back. You know,
Yes,
all
they're
right,
playing
okay,
super.
well,
And then
the epitome
Rijkaard
of total football.
was just a kind of just this person that just dictated play and kind of set the tone and things like that. But
I think
then
he's the one that's maybe the most underrated is
yes,
Rijkaard out
yes,
of
he
the
is actually, yeah. But I think Hullet was top class. I don't think
oh,
people understand that now.
ridiculous.
Like
I think now when you look at
top
these like
tier.
midfielders, you look at your number sixes or your number eights that run the game, like he was there. And then I guess when Davids and Seedorf came along, they've kind of like outshined him a little bit, but he was there.
Yeah,
Like he walked so they could run.
yeah,
Like
and he
Rijkaard
and
was
to be
there.
fair, he was better than those two players. I, as
Oh,
a as an attacking
whoa.
influence. No, I stand by it. I think they would say it. I think his years at AC Milan were like superb. But then you look at Mateus, and Mateus is the same. I don't think people understand how good Mateus is. I think some people of our generation obviously do, but you know, he was a
And I'll say
Rolls
it's
Royce.
one of the first players I fell in love with, and he's like my player of this tournament. The game before against Yugoslavia is my goal of the tournament, where he kind of got the ball in the half turn, beat a man, all in Klinsmann kind of like split the centre backs to make a gap, and he just rather than like they'd have gone sideways and passed it around, he just looked up and went, "Fuck it, I'm drilling this," and it didn't go top corner, it just like a good foot off the ground all the way to the bottom corner, beautiful goal, and
But he could play this.
that's my kind of midfielder,
We're
like
talking
all
about
over.
Hullet and how he when he was at Chip. It's the same with Matisse. Matisse could play attacking midfield, he could play centre midfield, he could play defensive midfield, and he could play sweeper. All the down the
Yeah.
spine of the team. You could
And I
put him
think as when he went
anywhere.
back to Bayern, I think he went further back,
Further
didn't he?
back, yeah. But
Yeah.
that's because he was so intelligent. He could play that position. He was probably the after Beckenbauer, he was probably the best German player to be able to be
And
that
I think
intelligent.
Beckenbauer probably saw a lot of him in
Yeah, and that's
Mateus
why he made
that
him a pivotal part.
yeah,
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
And I think he can score goals. He could spray passes around. Mateus was fantastic. Klinsmann was just prolific, really good, especially in the Germany
Oh,
international strip. Bremer just a gift of a left foot. It was just absolutely could take penalties left and right foot. He could just he could score goals from free kicks.
was the one in the one in the final was right foot, was
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
sure it
Yeah.
was. When
Um,
like,
so you've got these six gifted players, and there's more which we've discussed.
yeah,
But it's just, and it was just Germany always had that resilience. He just took the match.
yeah. My game, won't touch on, but like it, I know we're both Scottish. I mean, I do live in England, but like England Cameroon was my match to remember. There was a Scottish element of let's hope Cameroon beat them, because as a Cameroon kind of captured everyone's imagination. And this game went back and forward. It was settled on a diving bastard Gary Lineker penalty. It definitely wasn't one, but
I mean,
it
he
just one
shot
of those
himself
games.
earlier on the tournament. That's another good memory.
Right, it's like England take the lead, Cameroon come back, they take the lead, London gets a pen, two pens, like just one of those back and forward, really good games. We do have to mention England, they had some really awful games, but then they also gave us David Platt's extra time winner against Belgium, was probably one of the goals of the tournament.
Yeah, it was technically it was a fantastic goal. It
Oh,
really was. To
to,
keep
to
his
do
eye
it
on it and let it go over his
and
shoulder.
do it at that
Yeah,
stage of the match as well. You
yeah,
come off the
exactly.
bench and to hook that across is beautiful. We'll give them their due for that one. Uh, thank God
Yeah.
they didn't win it. Scott, you've already given us the shirt. Do you want to talk us through your man Baggio?
So my favourite goal was Baggio against Czechoslovakia. I did write about it in my blog a few years back, so I'm gonna just reread that as a wee bit of inspiration. He would pick up the pass on the left hand side of the pitch, just above the halfway line. He'd take a step back into his own half, and then he would then do a wee 1-2. He would surge forward into the Czechs' half, cut inside from his left foot and dodging a desperate lunge and challenge. Baggio would then dribble the ball further and reach the penalty area where he managed a wee neat sidestep over, which sent the defender the wrong way. And then the Italian superstar would then side foot the shot beyond the keeper. And I think he went near post with the side foot, the thing. But do you know, I think for me, it was. okay, that's football. That's you can do something that's so individualistic, so much. It was beautiful. It was just um, he drops his shoulder just as he's getting beat to the last
Yeah,
defender and just totally sends the defender the wrong way. I grew up after that watching Gascoigne at Rangers, and he would pick up the ball and just drop his shoulder and run past people. And I was always kind of interested in those kind of players who could just individually change a game.
it's that
Uh,
Iron Robin had that. It's like you know he's cutting in, but there's nothing you can do about it. And there's that. I don't need step overs. Just that drop of the shoulder, the change of direction.
just
I
have the
guess it's when you do
confidence
step
to beat
when
players.
when when you do step overs, you know something's about to happen. Whereas if you just go drop a shoulder, gone,
Yeah,
you didn't know it was coming, and
you've
then he's
created
already
you've
gone.
created that space by just a simple movement, and I think players nowadays don't take on our players as much. It's a bit sad. It's kind of get to a stage and then you pass it back to your
Pass it back,
fullback,
pass it
and
back.
or you'll get
Don't don't
you'll
make a mistake.
play a square pass and all the rest of it. You're like, I, I, I look at it and I say, "There's loads of space there. Why don't you just try and run into that space? Why don't see if you can get beyond their midfield and then put a pass in?" But yeah, so is that just that kind of, I didn't see Maradona against England or Belgium in '86.
Mm.
Obviously I have since, but for me that was that kind of goal Baggio scored. It wasn't as good, but it was for me that time, and I've never
And
ever
like,
forgotten it.
announced him on the scene. He was like the next big thing. That was his first big moment for Italy.
He would
He'd
then
go
go on
on
to
to
win
have
a Ballon d'Or, and yeah,
he had a really key part uh, in '94 as well, coming off the bench and like lighting up that tournament. But this was the I've arrived, and there's always those moments and there were those players where you're like, I guess in 1990, Maradona was what we would have had as the '98 Ronaldo, like the whole world's watching you, what you're going to do. Whereas Baggio was like, maybe in Italy they were, but the world wasn't quite
yeah,
aware of
yeah. It wasn't.
what he was. And it's like, I think he'd just
It's,
gone from Fiorentina to Juventus, hadn't they? They agreed
yeah,
that summer to go, which is a massive move in itself. Like,
yeah. That was never again, never forgotten. The
yeah,
grudge,
but then
the grudge
to then to be
remains.
like, to then do that for your country is kind of like, yeah, maybe we'll let him off tonight. It's fine.
Yeah,
But
it was just a
great moment.
sensational goal.
Uh, it's such a fun World Cup to look back on in terms of like it's your childhood. And I think people always remember your first. If that's like, and yeah, the way that football was different, and Nessun Dorma, the BBC's opening thing, just still an absolute.
Yeah,
When it comes on, still brings a tear to my eye when it comes on now. And I'm like,
I went to number
but,
one.
yeah,
Tell me that was there was
we
no fan altercations. I think '80s. It was kind of
end of the
cement,
'80s kind of
cemented.
and
The '90s is going to be a special kind of decade, in that sense
we,
for
we won't
football.
mention Scotland. It was kind of where my love of Scottish international football started and died within the first game. And you're like, oh, Scotland, World Cup, Costa Rica, what? We just got beat. What the fuck is this? And never recovered. Never recovered from that.
Hopefully, this, what is that? 36 years
Scott's
ago.
trying to do maths here. Yeah,
So
36 years ago.
36 years ago, hopefully we can now learn from that mistake. And
Because I'm pretty
I would
sure
hate
in
it.
the friendly before the World Cup, we lost 1-0 to Argentina at Hampden, and it was like maybe we're not that bad.
Did we
Well,
not
this is
beat
the
Argentina 1-0?
or did we beat Argentina 1-0?
Stuart
Stuart
McKimmie goal?
McKimmie?
Yeah,
His name, Joey's name was in there. I'm like, what is Stuart McKimmie do? Do you know what I mean?
I
How
think,
can you go
yeah.
and beat Argentina and then lose to fucking Costa Rica? That
That sums
sums us
Scotland
up.
up. Yeah,
That's
yeah. So hopefully this time we can learn that lesson and
So we're going to
put
lose
that.
to Japan, but then we're going to beat Haiti, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah. Well, lose to Curacao because I think we've got them
Of
a
course.
week on Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just it's nostalgia. There's better times.
Yeah.
You're not
Hopefully.
thinking of wars or petrol prices or stupid governments and all the rest of it. You're just
Yeah.
thinking of
Awesome
the
World Cup.
football.
If let us know your thoughts on Italian 90 guys, like your best memories. Hope we've not missed anything off. Next week we'll be back
One
for
thing,
another
sorry,
episode.
quickly,
Oh,
because I think it was also the kind of era of the football strip. So when we were wearing these kind of nice football strips and stuff, I think that Germany strip from Italia 90 was
yeah.
probably one of the first ones. I was
I
like, oh
think I
yeah,
had
that's
I
art.
think I had a knockoff one somewhere when I was a kid, and
Yeah,
it's one that's like high
something
on
from
my
the
list.
Barras. You got it from the Barras or something, didn't you?
I've got like a reissue one It's like an official Adidas thing, but it's like not from 1990.
My brother
Uh,
had it, but it was before my time of buying strips or getting
yeah,
strips bought for me,
your
so
brother
it
being
was
old is such a massive influence. You got that
yeah.
older brother who kind of like, let me show you the ways, young man.
But yeah, that Germany strip was just a work of art.
Yeah, it was a 94 was decent with the kind of fan thing. Well, I had both of them. I think I had the 92 strips as well. My dad was stationed in Germany when he was in the army, so he always loved Germany. So kind of became like the first country outside of Scotland. You can like, oh, Germany, that's a thing. Yeah,
The Italy strip that I've got now, I think the best thing about it is the numbers. I like
yes,
the
the
wee
numbers are good.
boxes.
Well, I think the Adidas ones for this World Cup have got the same style.
Yeah,
They've gone to that
um,
like the boxy outline.
and
Big
Adidas have
fan.
got done well for this Alls World Cup, I think, as
N-
proven by your
I,
strip that you're currently wearing.
this one, and I've got the. I was looking through getting some. I'm sorry, I've got some. I said they're fake. Well, not fake. People made them. Just
We all
made them
know
in
what you're
China.
like. We all know you're a skinflint. Don't worry, that's
Oh,
fine.
but this one's real. I bought this as a genuine
Yeah,
shirt. But
you
I've
did.
got
You bought it in Glasgow as well,
in
so it's
Glasgow. I got the Curacao one in Spain from one of these many sites that exist, and they're both Adidas trefoil. And I was going through their site, going, I like that one, I like that one, and most of them are all Adidas. Adidas was smashed this World Cup.
I
It's all
don't-
away shots, like the Colombia away shots, like Denmark's is lovely. There's a few others that I'm eyeing up that I might have
Can
to.
you tell me? Is it? I think the US they're Nike colour up.
They're Nike, yeah.
I think that's the only
The red and white
because it's
one's
kind of
pretty
like the
good.
'94 one, isn't it?
94,
I
which I
can't
do love as
remember any.
well.
I can't really tell you any other Nike strips. Even the Brazil one, I
Uh,
don't know what it is. I can.
Korea's away one's nice.
Okay.
England's is Nike shit.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't.
It's all the Adidas have smashed this World Cup, and it's that same. They've got that same box number as the Italy one there.
And they've got a
So
new.
there we go.
They've brought the adverts back as well for this one.
Just the that one was really good. Adidas one. Have Nike done one yet? I've not
I've
seen a
not
Nike
seen it.
one.
I've not. If they have,
No,
I've not seen it.
there was the Brazilian one with Brahma beer that's got Ronaldo in it.
No, I've not seen that one.
Oh, have you not seen that?
No, no, that's
Oh,
something to look forward to.
right. Well, we're going to end the episode here so Scott can go and watch his man Ronaldo. We're back next week. We're doing a World Cup 11 next week, and then we'll be back a few days before the World Cup kicks off on June the 11th to our final thoughts before we get into it. And then we're hopefully going to be coming during the World Cup, or this whole thing has been pointless. So, thanks for listening, everyone. Please make sure you like on YouTube, you comment on whatever you find it on Spotify, rate it, whatever you've got to do to make people get an eye on this. Please help us out. From me and Scott, until next time, bye for now.
Arrivederci.